Hey everyone, it's Fitz with your Power Talk post-game press conference variety. We'll be doing these on Mondays because Kansas State has moved their press conferences to Monday from Tuesday, and we got a lot of stuff going on in the studio right now. So I'm sitting out here in our family theater room. Surprised I don't have a dog next to me, but a lot going on, a lot of things to pay attention to. And just as K-State fans have a lot of things to pay attention to Saturday when they meet Tennessee Martin, a very good program that's won a couple league titles, rolling in here with a lot of confidence. And the first half should be very interesting, how both teams approach that. Tennessee Martin plays SEMO next week, their rival, so they certainly don't want to get banged up, but they also want to win this game. So how they approach it would be something I'm watching, and how K-State uses rotations in that first half will be also very interesting. This is an incredibly deep Kansas State team, deep at all positions that they feel like they've finally built up the kind of depth they need. And you can see that reflected on the depth chart that was also released on Monday. They have 13 positions on offense to reflect the different formations they could start a game with, and they have 12 positions on defense reflecting the same thing, because now they have a four-down lineman look that they're going to put out there, some that includes three defensive ends. So one of them will be stand-up. I'm intrigued to see it. I don't know how it'll manifest itself, but it's reflected on that depth chart. And they have 6 defensive ends listed, and not Cody Stufflebeans, who's probably, I think, the only guy we're aware of being banged up for this first game. So they have 7 defensive ends are ready to play. And we've talked about that in the past, that how this depth is so much improved. But they also list 2 running back positions on offense that lets Dylan Edwards be listed as a starter, even though it's DJ Giddens at running back, because I think they will do a lot of 2-back set. And they also use Dylan Edwards as that 4th receiver sometimes. So again, another thing I'm interested in seeing. Now there's only one really meaningful or on that depth chart. There's a couple of them, and that's at right guard, where Taylor Portier's back, but Andrew Langang has applied some pressure there and made that an or as the backup defensive end. And I think he's ready to be, he's been here for a while. He's paid his dues, so he's ready to see some action. And how they rotate that offensive line will be of interest. But they feel like they've settled in to their core group of guys. Now, I think my favorite question in the press conference was from one of my media colleagues, that's Coach Kleiman, about Avery Johnson and his confidence. Are they worried about his emotion going into that first home start? Chris Kleiman just said, no, I don't worry about Avery's emotions. I don't worry about that. He's not a kid that gets wrapped up in that. He's the adult in the room wherever he goes, and he was at the table again today. Just handles everything cool and calm, nothing flashy, doesn't say outrageous things. An interesting story about it was Carver Willis said that all the offensive linemen sit in one portion of the film room, the same room we're in for press conferences, and Avery sits with them. And that's just a reflection of who he is as a leader. I guess Will Howard did it too. But Avery just has a sense of natural leadership, understanding how to push buttons for people. And I'm excited to see what he's like as the starting quarterback and see if he's ready to stand up to a lot of talk. I mean, people are talking about him a Heisman Trophy and the best quarterback in the Big 12, and other people have him in the middle of the list and don't think he's going to be that good. So we'll find out probably a lot on Saturday night. And we'll find out some of these rotations from this team because they've got a lot of dudes. I mentioned defensive end, safeties the same way. Their front line 3 safeties might be the best K-State's had in a long time because everyone's raving about a transfer Jordan Riley. And this dude is full of energy, can play, and is dynamic. And you put him out there with Siegel and VJ Payne, that's a pretty good trio. They've also got good corners. It's just an amazing group of guys from depth standpoint, and then how many guys can be competing out there for playing time. And they'll see that as long as K-State can handle Tennessee Martin. As long as they get away from them, we're going to see a lot of players. I expect that they will. I just think, when Kansas State's gotten troubles in the past, they just were trying to grind it out and make plays in their base offense. Well, now with the presence of guys like Avery and DJ Giddens and some of these receivers, and of course Dylan Edwards, I think they're just going to break some plays. They're just going to make some big plays against Tennessee Martin and get rolling. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm very intrigued about this season. I agree with the players who are really confident, feel like they're better than the last 2 years. But I got to see it. I want to see it to believe it. And we're getting that way on Saturday night at the Bill. We'll see Kansas State Wildcats with Avery Johnson under center for the first time as a starter in a home game against a really good team from the FCS level. Hope you are going to be prepared and ready to go. You got a job too. You got to be ready. It's an evening game, so don't get over tuned up. Be ready to yell your face off. And that's it for this one. We'll be back on Saturday night with another Power Talk. Yes, Daphne, I'll give you attention now.